Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. The NFL Scouting Combine takes place this week. One of the edge rushers I'll be keeping a close eye on in Indianapolis is Boston College's Donovan Ezeiruaku. We all know that the Bucs need a pass rusher, and Penn State's Abdul Carter will be long gone by the time Tampa Bay picks the number 19. And I just have a feeling that Georgia's Jalen Walker and Mikael Williams, Tennessee's James Pierce, and Marshall's Mike Green could be off the board too. Could Ezeiruaku be a first-round fit for the Bucs? I'll tackle this topic today in the Pewter Pulse. But first, your reminder, hit the thumbs up button, give this video a like, also leave a comment. I love reading the comments. And doing those two things helps us get in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you and grow our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. Now let's talk pass rush and how Donovan Ezeiruaku would look awfully good in red and pewter, but is he a first-round talent? Most draft sites have Ezeiruaku as an early second-rounder, and Pro Football Focus's Trevor Sikkema, my good friend and Pewter Report alum, has the BC Sackmaster as the number 36 overall prospect and the seventh-rated edge rusher. He's a bit undersized at 6'2", 248 pounds, but that's just 2 inches shorter and 3 pounds lighter than Marshall's Mike Green. And those two players are very similar. So let's compare Green and Ezeiruaku, and I'll show you what I mean. Last year, Green led the nation with 17 sacks, along with 84 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, and 3 forced fumbles as a redshirt sophomore at Marshall. Ezeiruaku had 80 tackles, 16 and a half sacks, 21 tackles for loss, and 3 forced fumbles during his senior year at Boston College. Nearly identical numbers, but I'm actually more impressed with Ezeiruaku's production because it came against better quality opposition in the ACC compared to Green's as Marshall plays in Conference USA. While Green did record sacks against the likes of Virginia Tech, Ohio State, and Pittsburgh, he also racked up sacks against Appalachian State, South Alabama, Arkansas State, Georgia Southern, Louisiana Monroe, and Coastal Carolina. Ezeiruaku has career sacks against the likes of Florida State, Missouri, Virginia, Syracuse, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Clemson, Rutgers, and Michigan State, and he's faced higher quality offensive tackles as a result. Ezeiruaku finished his Boston College career with 215 tackles and 45 and a half tackles for loss, in addition to 30 sacks and 8 forced fumbles. I know the Bucs need a pass rusher and someone who can consistently get to the quarterback, but Ezeiruaku can really play the run well too. He had 16 games with 6 tackles or more, including 3 with 10 tackles or more in 2024. He reminds me a lot of Shaq Barrett, who is 6'1" and 252 pounds. Barrett was an underrated run stuffer who used great leverage and agility to be effective against the run, as well as getting to the quarterback. What I like about Ezeiruaku's game is that he takes the fight to offensive tackles. He's not a finesse guy like Joe Tryon-Shoyinka who tries to run around offensive tackles. That doesn't work in the NFL. Ezeiruaku is a tough Jersey kid from Williamstown, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. And that should win over Todd Bowles, who hails from Elizabeth, New Jersey himself, and he played football in Philly at Temple. Ezeiruaku plays with a high motor. He's a high-effort guy, high intensity, and that allowed him to produce 7 multiple sack games at BC, including 6 as a senior. I like guys who can get sacks in bunches. So what does Donovan Ezeiruaku need to do to become a first-round draft pick? Well, he really needs to show how athletic he is in Indianapolis this week at the NFL Scouting Combine. It's not so much about the 40-yard dash time as it is about the 10-yard split and the shuttle and the 3 cone drills. If Ezeiruaku can run a low 1.6 or better in the 10-yard split and post some really good agility scores, he could certainly warrant a low first-round grade because that's what the tape shows. He's that kind of player. Despite being only 6'2", Ezeiruaku has incredibly long arms that measure 34 and a half inches. They're nearly 2 inches longer than Mike Green's, And Ezeiruaku has a pterodactyl style wingspan of 6'10", whereas Green's wingspan is just 6'5". What I like about Ezeiruaku at the Senior Bowl was how he was talking with Green during practice. Those were just two alpha pass rushers picking each other's brains. And Ezeiruaku told me that really all he wanted to do at the Senior Bowl practices was to prove to the NFL general managers and coaches and scouts in attendance that he could really stop the run. And he did just that. In 11-on-11 sessions, I saw Ezeiruaku absolutely slam into offensive tackles and smash tight ends to set the edge in the run game in a very physical manner. Ezeiruaku has a very high football IQ, and I think Todd Bowles and Jason Light are going to fall in love with him during their combine interview. He's a great kid who puts in a lot of time in the film room, where he's studied the likes of Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Yannick Ngakoue, and other similar-sized pass rushers. He even sat in on offensive line meetings at Boston College, where he would study offensive line play with Boston College offensive line coach Doug Marrone, and that helped him become an even more effective pass rusher. Ezeiruaku is a very fluid, agile, athletic pass rusher, and he has great bend at the top of the arc. He's a very polished edge rusher. He's got a wide array of pass rush moves that include inside spin, outside spin, dip and rip, cross chop, double swipe, ghost step. He's got a nice swim, arm over. He's got a complete arsenal of pass rush moves. Ezeiruaku told me at the Senior Bowl, he's also comfortable dropping into coverage as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme. That should be music to Todd Bowles' ears. I don't necessarily like that. I like my pass rushers attacking the quarterback rather than dropping into coverage. But we all know that Todd Bowles likes to drop his outside linebackers, and that's something else Ezeiruaku will be able to show he can do at Indy. I really hope that he shines at the Combine, as Donovan Ezeiruaku is one of my favorites in terms of draft prospects this year, and I think he'd be an absolutely fabulous fit in Tampa Bay, even in the first round. Folks, we appreciate you helping our growth over at Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. That's where you can find my Pewter Pulse videos, as well as the Pewter Report podcasts and other great Bucs video content. You can also subscribe to Pewter Report TV and help us get to 18,000. That would be great. And make sure you follow us on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, and pewterreport.com, our website, where we've got combine coverage this week, a new mock draft coming out in about 2 weeks. We also have free agency coverage starting, as well as all the draft coverage you'll need about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.